Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for the final game of Super Rugby Pacific round 4, and it should be an exciting one. Some people have called it as a match of the weekend. It's going to be the Reds taking on the Fijian Drua in what promises to be a very exciting contest, and it is kicking off in only about 4 minutes' time. Looking through, though, at this Fijian Drua lineup, they've gone with the strong side. They were able to beat the Crusaders last week. They are on cloud 9, but they need to continue this momentum if they want a chance of making it into the top 8. It will be Tuni Ikanaveri and Samu Tawake as the front row. Then in the locking duo, it is Asoana Silasila, and also a change from what we're used to seeing. It is actually going to be Te Ahuaru Thurikatavita at number 5. Now, he can play lock. We've seen him play lock for Tasman in the past, but throughout the last couple of weeks, they have actually had him as the number 8. Joe Tamani to start off the loose forward trio alongside Kitioni Salawa and also Meri Deri Alangi, a massive player to have back for the Drua for this contest. I do hope he has a very successful game. Frank Lamani at 9 with Tite Tela at number 10, Aroni Sao at number 11, Upasalomi Vota and Osefo Masi, who has been going very well since joining up with the Fijian Drua for the Super Rugby Pacific competition. Rava Tomada at number 14, and then it is Drua Sisi actually going head-to-head up against his old side. So this is a game that he'll certainly want to have the last laugh. Looking through at the Red starting lineup, it is Xander, Faisler, and Ngor in the front row. Smith and Suru as the two locking for this matchup. Liam Wright, Fraser McWright, and Harry Wilson. A very strong loose forward trio, which is why the Fijian Drua with Tamani Salawa and Deri Alangi need to make sure that they're muscling up, getting in those breakdowns, and creating those opportunities. I think my hair's sitting about as worse as it ever have. I don't know what this little part is. I feel like some scissors would be a good idea to take to that part. Tate McDermott, there it goes down again. At number 9, James O'Connor sitting there at number 10. Filippo Dalgunu out on the left wing. Taj Anand in the midfield alongside Josh Fluke. Jordan Pataya on the right wing. And then it is going to be Jock Campbell slotting in as fullback. But this should be an exciting game. The Reds are a side that are always in matches up until they either make a big mistake and it seems to kill their momentum, or they'll keep it close and then maybe wear you down in the final moments. Whereas the Fijian Drua, like I mentioned, getting themselves a win on Fijian soil would have been absolutely massive for their confidence of the Super Rugby Pacific season. If they can do that again here, they get themselves in a very good spot on the table. Currently looking, I believe they are sitting in 8th, but I will quickly check whether or not anything updated from that Western Force game. I believe it didn't, though. I think everyone's still sitting at the same. The Fijian Drua, actually at number 6. The Waratahs sitting at number 8. So if they are able to win this game, they will actually boost themselves up possibly into 4th place ahead of the Blues. So that would be absolutely massive for the Fijian Drua. And good game, Drua, says Miriyama in there. And go the Warriors, says Laurie. Laurie, I should say. And I thought the Blues were going to be so good this year, says Choke the Woke. They've still got time. They've got a great squad. That is one thing that's for sure. And if they do not go well, I would be very surprised. If they weren't in the top 8, I'll be more surprised. I was wrong. That's the thing. They had a close game with the Crusaders, and that Crusaders side started finding a bit of their momentum, which we knew the Crusaders would. They're just one of those sides that if they play badly for a couple games, they then end up having a couple big matches. And hi, says Amelia, welcome in. The Reds, they currently find themselves sitting in 9th on 6 points. So whoever wins this game gets ahead of the other, and possibly, depending on the points differential, may find themselves sitting in either 6th, or if they get a bonus point, they should find themselves sitting in 5th ahead of the Crusaders. So a lot on the line for these two sides. If we're looking at key players, I have to say that combination of Frank Lamani and Tite Tela is going to be so important. Tite Tela, at times, some people have said he's a bit of a 50-50 player. He needs to make sure he's having his A game in this matchup. But Frank Lamani, those little snipes around the side of the breakdown. Tate McDermott will do the exact same for the for the Reds. So that could be quite an intriguing battle. But James O'Connor at number 11 for the Reds, number 10, should be very handy. Dalgunu and Pataya out on the wings. You to watch out for. And I've been watching New Zealand Rugby since 1986. There's Choke the Woke. Oh, so you've gone through the roller coaster of emotions for the Blues then, because they have had a lot of years when people have said they're going to go all right, and then they do end up, unfortunately, just not quite living up to the expectation. But I think this year, they just need a bit more time. They seem like they're having that penalty problem once again. Once they get the hang of the discipline, it seems to mainly be in their front row. they can sort that out, they'll be a very successful team. They just need to make sure they don't give away 15 penalties each game. Going to be kicked off by the Reds to get us underway at Suncorp Stadium. Not the cleanest take there from Narcella Silla. It does bounce back onto the Fijian Drua side. Tite Teller fires it across now. Straight away, the Reds trying to put extra pressure on by the looks of it each time. Fijians have the ball in hand, trying to get that rush defense going, create the offloading mistake from the Fijian Drua. Nice take out on the wing. Now it is going to be Tate McDermott trying to snipe his way through Ravatamata, able to drag him down. I feel like with some of these Fijian names, you got to slightly warm up your tongue. I did only wake up about maybe 30 minutes ago. So hopefully they do start rolling off the tongue very soon. James O'Connor on the outside. Josh Fluke tried to find Dalgunu. It's going to be a knock on. The scrum feed for the first time in this match. Down the way of the Reds and Draw. All the way my flavour. Says Viniana. I went to the Rugby World Cup 2087. Fans at Eden Park, says Joke the Woke. And also all the best to both teams and go the Draw, says Jerry. And Vinny, make your way, Derry. Or Buller your way, Derry, says Viniana. Now the Reds. Scrum feed in the shade at Suncorp Stadium. Because it's an afternoon game, there is quite a bit of sun on the far side, cutting it almost directly in half this field. So that straight away tells me you should be kicking the ball high on that side. Try and force those errors. That's gone down in the front rows. Both sides getting a little bit too keen. This back line, though, I have a feeling the Reds may look to use it early. Try and get it out wide to someone like a Dalgunu or maybe Geordie Pataya. See if you can try and catch this Fijian defence slightly less awake in the early stages, because the more you allow a Fijian side into a match, the more they're going to keep on pushing you. We saw that with the Crusaders game. Crusaders had themselves a little bit of a lead at halftime. Then the Drua fought back just that little bit and then just continued to be in the match for the rest of it. And Tosso Drua Tosso, says Viniana, and let's get it, Drua, says Nate. And Buller Hamish says, Vinny, welcome in, mate. You're excited for this game. I certainly am. Harry Wilson goes to Tate McDermott off to O'Connor. That's forward by about 4 meters. It doesn't quite sit up into the hands of Drua Sisi, but if it did, it could have been a runaway try opportunity for the Fijian Drua. James O'Connor disappointed with that one. Gets a couple high fives from his teammates, although knows that that was a big opportunity to try and test out that set play. McDermott, he went back. Tell you what, he got absolutely nailed in the tackle by Kitioni Salawa, though. He won't like doing that. Running at the line. And then James O'Connor just rushed the pass a little bit. And that is something that the Fijian Drua can do to sides. Make you panic because you don't want to get hit. Like, don't get me wrong, as a professional rugby player, you know what it's like to get tackled. But it's a different feeling when a flying Fijian puts all their body weight into a tackle into your midsection. You do slightly hesitate. And Lamani goes across now. Beautiful wide cutout pass. Ravatamata tried to skim the man on the outside, but he's done well to drag him down there. Annan. Now, short ball was Narcella Silla. Lamani goes across to Teller. It's going to be Tawaki. Throwing himself forward, an advantage in favour of the Fijian Drua as well, so trying to use it to their advantage here. Kitioni Salawa now once again. Frank Lamani tries to snipe. Like I mentioned before the match, that is something he will do multiple times throughout this one, looking for the offload. For Kitioni Salawa, they'll go back for the initial penalty. And must draw a Vinny T. And yes, the Rabula. There says Vinny. Now, 4 minutes into the game, the Drua, this is a 45-metre kick if they want it. I mean, it might be right on the edge of Titi Teller's range, which is why they've decided to opt for the kick to touch instead. Plus, it just leaves that little bit more pressure on the Reds. They'll be sitting about 20 metres out now for the line out for this Fijian Drua. Tavita Ikanaveri, hopefully he gets this one correct. Or else it's a long day at the office. If your first line out doesn't go right, you spend the rest of the half trying to fix it. Now, Ikanaveri throws this one into the back. There was a little finger on it by the Reds player, but somehow, oh no, there was a knock on there, unfortunately, from the Fijian Drua as they rolled over the ball. They'll be going back for the first knock on in the line out, though. That was against the Reds. The scrum feed for the Fijian Drua. We'll go like this. There we go. All good. And also, we need consistency, Drua, says Abe. And that's the thing. They're in sixth place at the moment. So you get yourself a couple more early wins here in the competition. You start slightly jumping over other sides. The Fijian Drua win this game. I believe they bounce up into about third place ahead of the Blues or somewhere around there, fourth place, which is huge for the Fijian Drua. Massive run forward there from Ironi Sal. Ran it straight at James O'Connor. Now an advantage going the way of the Fijian Drua again. Now Silasila around the side of the breakdown. Lamani looks to the right, cut out pass. Now the Ravatamata has to cut back on the inside. A good tackle made on him by Josh Fluke. They are still playing the advantage. Nice offload. Here comes the big man, Dirialangi. Back for Fiji's half a metre short. Lamani went for the pick and go around the side. He only had to travel about maybe 20 centimetres. They just want to check this one to make sure. And our Shucks knock on. Please no more of that. If they win, they need to, or they stand at fourth place Drua, says John, which is massive for them because when you consider it's their second year of Super Rugby and how quickly they've taken to this competition and worked out what works, what doesn't. Of course, I really hope I'm not jinxing this and they do end up going far in this comp rather than us jinxing them. Right, they're checking that one. It's a knock on the ground, unfortunately. So that's going to be a no try. Half a metre out from the line. It was the big man, Meri Dirialangi. It just ended up slipping out of his hands. Also, we have got their Man Waisu. And go the Drua go, says Jay. This was close. Just thought about reaching out, decided against it. No try. Going back for the original penalty as they did have the advantage. Now, I should mention we've already had 3 scrums in the first 6 minutes of this match. We've had a line out as well. So I think this game might be heavily revolving around the set piece. That doesn't look like Meri Dirialangi. I don't think Dirialangi's playing at number 8. Who have they got instead? I do not think that is Dirialangi, though. Not unless he's had a haircut. That looked more like Kitioni Salawa, actually, saying that. And Tamani might be at 6, so I think they've had to have a bit of a change around in their loose forward trio. We'll keep you updated on that, but I think they've had to make a couple little changes to their side because that looks a lot more like Kitioni Salawa playing number 8. Joe Tamani, I believe I just saw, might have the number 7 jersey on his back. So it's more of the question of who is number 6. And to be honest, it could still be Dirialangi, depending on where he is, but that is going to be a successful conversion from Frank Lamani. They decided to take on the 3 points, and that is now going to give them a 3-point lead over the Reds. Right, we're going to go into results and fixtures. We're going to work out this loose forward trio situation. We'll go like this. We'll go line up. Right, what do they do? So they did end up going Dirialangi at 6. Tanakai Vata, they've got at 8. He's not playing at 8, though. He is in the lock and joy if he's out there. Unless, oh no, sorry. Okay, so they've got Kanakai Vata at number 8, Salawa at 7, Meri Dirialangi at number 6. So that means there's no Joe Tamani in that starting lineup. Torika Davita still playing at number 5. There you go. So the late change. No Joe Tamani. So instead, Dirialangi finds himself at 6. And then number 7, still Kitioni Salawa, like I mentioned. And then it is at number 8, Tanakai Vata, which I'm excited about now that I realize he's playing there because he is actually a very handy player from the Fijian 7 circuit. Nice run forward, though, from the Fijian number 13, Osefo Masi, and he has had a breakout Super Rugby Pacific so far. Now sitting inside of their own 22, it looks like Frank Lamani will be putting back, trying the box kick of his own. Decent distance on it. Go down to about 40 meters out from the Fijian Drua lines. And shout out to the Drua for dropping the Pusate is the poor there. And also, wouldn't it be nice, John, to be in 4th place? Says Vinny. It would be absolutely incredible for the Fijian Drua because you look at their last year's season. I'm just going to have a quick look here and see exactly how many games they won And the answer to that is they won 2 games last season out of their 14. They currently find themselves for 2023 already with 2 games under their belt in the victory column. So if they win this, that's more games than they won last year, and we are only at round 4 of the Super Rugby Pacific competition. Now, the Reds have got themselves the penalty about 35 metres out on the angle. Penalty went against the Fijian Drua for collapsing them all. I believe that was Samu Tawake who's been penalised for that. Yes, more tries, says Vinny there. And did the Force win? They did not. In the end, the Highlanders are able to get themselves that victory. It was a high-scoring game. Highlanders winning at 43 points to 35. So Western Force don't walk away with the bonus point because they were out by the 8 points. I believe Highlanders don't walk away with a bonus point because they didn't score 3 or more tries than their opposition. Now, 10 minutes into the contest, it will now be a line out for the Reds. About 12 metres out from the line now. Important throw. Saru takes it nicely. Now it's starting to wheel around a little bit. Another penalty going against the Fijian Drua. Now that's giving me straight flashbacks to that game that they were playing a little bit earlier on in the season. Great cross kick though. Inside ball. Knocked back by, I believe that's going to be Jock Campbell. But that game that they were playing not last week up against the Crusaders, but the week prior, when they were right in the contest up until the final moments where that discipline started unfortunately going downhill. They did end up losing that game. That's going to be a try for the Reds, and it's Josh Fluke who goes in for it. The first try of the match for the Reds, and one of their first attacks of the contest as well. But yeah, in their game up against the Waratahs, they were sitting about 17-17, and then the penalty count just kept on going and going and going, and the Waratahs were able to extend that lead 46 points to 17. Just shows how important that discipline can be throughout a contest. A couple penalties in a row against the Drua there, then led to the attacking opportunity, and Josh Fluke got the inside ball and was able to make the most of it. It's actually well spotted, I believe. I think that was Dalgunu. No, it wasn't. It was actually, I think, Drua Sisi. That ball might have gone forward off the offload, but don't know whether they're going to check that or not. And good one, Reds. And please, Drua, stay calm, man. And do not give away too many penalties, says Vinny. And the Force lost Tanoi. Here's the poor there. It's a good finish from Josh Fluke, though. He still had to go through the big man, Salawa. He sounded like he wasn't happy with the kick, and you can see why. It's ended up hitting the left-hand side and bouncing back out. Score will remain 5 points to 3. Favour of the Reds. What a Fluke try, says Nate. How long you been waiting for him to score one, Nate, so you can use that exact pun? Has he scored any this season yet, Josh Fluke? I think he's been a little bit quiet at times. They're just showing a picture of Josh Fluke when he was a younger fella. Of course, it is the kids' round of Super Rugby. Only 12 minutes through at the moment. Reds with that 2-point lead. Yeah, true that, Hamish, says Blues, Nate. And also red fire, says MJL. Oh, charge down by Rabatamata, and that is how you put pressure straight back onto the Reds. You got to make sure you're taking the most of your opportunities when they arise, and that was a very good bit of work from the Fijian Drua. The charge down meant that the kick was nowhere near as far down the field as it would have been after a couple more phases of pressure rugby. Now 20 metres out, the Fijian Drua have got themselves their line-out opportunity. Time is turned off at the moment by the sounds of it. Fiji, I believe they'll consider going to the front to Meri Terialangi. They went to the back. I know nothing. Now Salawa offloads it around to Ikanaveri. I know if I was aiming at a line out, I'd probably aim at Terialangi most of the time. That one's going to be a loose ball dropped by the Fijian Drua and picked up by Tavita Dalgunu, who now kicks for the touchline. Actually, a very good clearance from Tavita Dalgunu on his least favoured left boot and charged down well. And then, says Vinny, so it was charged down. Unfortunately for the Drua, the Reds got that ball straight back, and then they went a couple more phases, kicked it for touch, but it did only go just out to the 20 metres out from their own line. So whereas if that kick wasn't charged down, I'd say they would have been down at about the 40-metre line. So they managed to play the territory game quite well. Unfortunately for them, though, then dropping the ball in the line out. After the line out, I should say. That's going to be another loose ball stolen by Liam Wright. Any time that that ball is just floating, the Reds are able to pierce it out of thin air. Nice run from the try scorer, Josh Fluke. Pressure on him, though, and that breakdown almost turned over by Ilya Tanakaivata. Another run from Liam Wright, man, who did initially help get that turnover. Now it's going to be McDermott going off to Harry Wilson. Very handy player. I like watching him play any side that are willing to run it straight back at him because he will run as hard as he can at a defensive line. Oh, that's almost a dangerous one. Luckily, he's all right, though. He landed safely. Drua Sisi, that was almost an ugly clean out in the air. But both men going for the ball. It would have been an unfortunate landing. And Tawake gets it just out from the, well, we've got a 30-metre line at the moment at Suncorp due to the NRL recently taking place. But instead now the 22-metre line. Nice run forward from Osefa Masi again, stolen in the breakdown, but illegally. I know the turnover was good, but they were going back for the original advantage in favour of the Fijian Drua. And thanks, Hamish. And red fire, red fire, red fire. There's MJL. Seruru penalised for not rolling away. 15 minutes into this contest. Seems like both sides aren't extremely rushing at this stage in terms of the way that they're playing. They're just trying to get those phases, get it through their hands a little bit. But then as soon as we see a little bit of either Fijian flair or the Reds getting that one out wide, I think we're going to start seeing a few more tries. We've had one so far throughout this match, though, which is very good. And that was the try of Josh Fluke. Good afternoon, good sir, says Kerr. Welcome back, mate. Hope you are doing very well. What time is it for yourself, Kerr? Are you, I'm going to forget, aren't I? I'm terrible at remembering where people are from. But then if you remind me, then my brain goes, oh, yeah, nah. No, that was a rough pass. I was like, yeah, true. That Amish Russian indeed, says Vinny. It's going to be the loose ball. Asefa Masi, 1:15 p.m., says Kerr. Now, straight away, I thought of Perth, but I think you're actually, are you in somewhere in the islands? Like Malaysia? My brain's letting me down, unfortunately. And my time changes all the time from Scotland, but travel for work currently en route to Singapore. Ah, yes. Not Malaysia, Singapore instead. And Perth, mate, says MJL. Western Australia, says Nate there as well. It's going to go down. Elbow down on the far side. And that one's slightly wrong. That is actually going to be the straight penalty, I should mention as well, rather than just the warning. Okay, one of the commentators just saying he would have liked to see them play advantage rather than going straight to it. Right, we will go like this. We will go like this as well. There we go. All good. Currently 17 minutes in, Perth, mate. I do have to say, Kerr, as well, thank you very much for your kindness yesterday morning on the live streams, or today morning, this morning on the live streams. I think the first one was a surprise, and then you just kept on firing. So hugely appreciate it. I can tell you straight away, everything from that live stream's going straight back into the channel funds-wise. Got ourselves a new mixer recently, which will enhance the audio overall on the live streams, having multiple microphone sources, different volumes and everything. As some of you guys know, George can be quite quiet, and then he can also be quite loud. So having a little slider that I can adjust on the fly, very handy indeed. The offside penalty goes the way of the Reds. They'll be 10 metres out from the line now, and I think they'll kick for the corner. I think you've got to try and keep on laying it on. And I was like, well deserved. You put in a lot of effort, says Kerr. Yeah, it's hugely appreciated you guys tuning in for so many of the streams. Like, I always, at the start, I assume when I did like 5 or so streams throughout the night, that we would have very different people for each of the streams just because it's like a random hour of the night. But like you guys just tune in no matter what the hour is. Like that was a 6 a.m. live stream for us. That means it was a 1 a.m. live stream for you, Kerr. Roughly, depending on whereabouts, I guess your boat was at the stage or your plane. I think it's a boat though, isn't it? Now, they're going to be rolling it around the side here. The Fijian Drua doing very well to get that turnover, and the penalty goes their way. Oh, taking a quick tap there. Seems like, oh, Frank Lamani, he's lost his footing though. That has slowed down that little bit of a counter attack that the Fijian Drua were trying to create. And they have to kind of run this out now because they could have kicked for touch and had their line out. Instead, though, it actually does look like they are going to have to kick this ball. And he kicks it out. So, bit of a waste there from Lamani taking it quickly. I guess it gives a different look at the Reds. And also today morning, you must be exhausted, says Vinny. Oh, I think I got like 6 hours sleep, which actually isn't too bad for me over the weekend because in terms of when was the last time I slept before that? I think it was like Saturday morning. So I managed to get some sleep over Sunday today. That's my equivalent of yesterday's sleep. So I think I'm caught up, kind of, not really, but she'll be right. I actually should work every day while I'm on a ship, but my company now realizes weekend is rugby time. Yeah, I was up to 4ish for rugby related activities. So yeah, I mean, yes, I'm the one who talks frantically throughout the games. Like you guys, if anything, I feel like it's harder to like be on a live stream typing. I feel like I would find typing so much more tiring than talking. You know, like being able to write longer messages, definitely if it's 4 a.m. or like 3 a.m., like you mentioned. I feel like you guys are just as much of the MVPs as I am. That was a tip tackle, bit awkward, the way that he fell. Now, Harry Wilson, pick and go around the side of the breakdown. Currently, it looks like the Reds just going to build a few more phases together, up to 9 now. That looked like a bit of a tip tackle from a Reds player on a Fijian Drua player. Everyone's just tipping everyone. Now, getting closer to the line now, Jock Campbell. McDermott goes off the Nongor. Looks confusing with those extra lines, but it is 10 metres out. And now it's going to be the advantage in their favour. Big tackle made by Osefa Masi, driving him back about 10 to 15 metres. McDermott. Now back to Dane Zander. Jock Campbell across to Dalgunu, who steps well. Almost goes through. That was a bit high for the tackle attempt from Millie. On Millie. Cooney, nice short ball to Liam Wright. 14 phases, and they'll go back for the penalty. And double blow a whistle as well. And come on, Fijian Drua. Sri Lanka 108 for 2 following on. He's going. I did actually get to see the man walking off the field, the Sri Lankan captain, but I didn't get to see his wicket. It was when I left the room and came back. Tossa Drua says Grace there. Nice Drua. And also, yeah, Super Rugby is just amazing. Just need to bring back the biff. Oh, that's an awkward way of tipping a man, but I think they're going to say that it might be a yellow card for Kitione Salawa here. Oh, see, he grabs the foot and then momentum rolls both of them forward. He tries to drive him a little bit into the turf. They might consider this as a yellow card, but it might just be a penalty. Okay, it's like they've just said, he lands on his arm. So it's one of those unfortunate ones that when you look at it in slow motion, it doesn't actually look that bad, but when it's in full time, it looks like he gets tipped. So he's driven in. They just said he drove him into the ground. I don't know whether he drove him that much. Kitione Salawa, though, going to be off the field for the next 10 minutes and on report as well, they said. And who do you fancy winning this year's Super Rugby? Ooh. Now, if I don't say the Fijian Drua, I know a few of our Fijian watchers will be offended, but I'm going to say for me currently, I think the 3 sides that have the best chance, Crusaders, Blues, and Chiefs. And then there's a couple dark horses in there, like maybe a Drua side or the Hurricanes. Someone along those lines that could be right up there. The Brumbies as well have a really good crack. That's going to be a not straight throw from the Reds. In fact, a bit of obstruction there. That's the last thing you want from Ryan Smith. That will now give the Fijians the penalty, and they'll be able to kick it downfield. We cover day 4. We will not. We're still not covering Sri Lankan games. Not out of protest, just because we don't want to get a copyright strike at this stage of the year. Teller kicks that one to touch, 30 metres out from their own line now. The Drua work themselves the line out, and mine is Chiefs and the Drua, says Vinny there. And Chiefs, Crusaders, and Brumbies, says Abe. So it seems to be, out of all of the teams, the same about 6 sides always get mentioned, don't they? Not many people mentioning the Rebels, the Waratahs, which is surprising because at the start of the season, everyone said how good the Waratahs should have been. But they haven't really lived up to that expectation as of yet. No one's really saying the Western Force or the Highlanders. Moana Pacifica, not many people saying that they will end up winning. I think they're going to win a few games, Moana Pacifica, if they can just get that chemistry right. And then the Reds are another side that not many people mentioning. It's a possible winner. That's going to be another penalty in favour of the Fijian Drua. This time it is against Filipa Dalgunu. Nowhere near the ball, bit of obstruction. Be gunning for the Canes, but can't see it. This year, Field Chiefs could clinch it, though, says Kerr. And also, do the Reds is your least favourite team to win the league? No, I'd say least likely to win the league so far is either Western Force, Moana Pacifica, or the Highlanders. But I think Reds are going to be midway. They might even find themselves in the top 8, the Reds. I think the teams that miss out on the top 4 more than likely will be Western Force, Moana Pacifica, Highlanders, the top 8, and then also probably the Rebels. I've had a couple decent performances so far. Melbourne Rebels, of course. Lamani, actually ex-Rebels player. That's going to be dropped by Te Ahuahu Tharika Davita. Didn't quite catch that one the way you would have liked, but it's kicked him behind by the Reds. Giving the position back to the Fijian Drua. Ravatamada. Goes a Durasese. And that one, was that a 50-22 or was it just outside? It is inside, so a 50-22 against his old side there for the Drua. They've now got themselves the line-out opportunity inside of 20 metres. In the kick, it wasn't really it just seemed like a stock standard kick in behind. In fact, if anything, he slightly probably shanked it more than he wanted to, but it perfectly went in the gap between the fullback Jock Campbell and the 22-metre line. Now, Ikanaveri throwing the ball in. Line out time, though, for the Drua has been a real problem so far, and that is another case of that. They're going back, though. Oh, the Reds have given away an offside or a knock-on, is it? Might be a little knock-on. Noto Tosa Duro Toso. Yeah, Samuela, Canes fan for your information. Tell you what, the Canes, if I had to pick a team that I want to get a kit for, it is the Hurricanes. I love the yellow on their kit, but I mean, I was going to get one over the off season. I should have, because now they're like, hey, it's regular season. $160 for the same kit that was like 60 not too long ago. Now, Frank Lamani going to feed the ball in? Not really. Currently just all waiting. This is actually the first scrum we've had in a little while, which is quite good. Now 20 metres out. Fijian Drua with the scrum feed. And Gaines kit, as always, in my wardrobe, says Kerr. It's a nice kit. Which kit, in terms of Hurricanes year, do you like the best, Kerr? Because, to be honest, I think last year's kit is probably my favourite due to, and this year's kit as well, because it's the same. But yeah, I think last year's kit is my favourite kit for them because it's almost a little bit more yellow. And I just like the little swirls that it's got on it as well. That's going to be kicked in behind for Frank Lamani. Real mistake there. Wasn't the right choice. And good ground there. Ground conditions. Ground's looking decent. Suncorp Stadium normally holds up pretty well, although I think they've had a little bit of NRL there the last couple of weeks. So, there's a few sprig marks and roughed up turf, but overall, it's looking like a decent ground to play on for this matchup. And the crowd, not as good as I would have liked to see for a Fijian Drua game, but I guess that could be because it's a Sunday rather than a Saturday game, and also a mid-afternoon game as well for them. But still plenty of supporters for the Fijian Drua in attendance, that is for sure, which is absolutely great to see. And draw all the way, says Samuela. I will ask the question, ladies and gentlemen, who will be the next try scorer, the exact player? Who are we going with? Now, the last couple times I've done this, somehow, I have no idea how, I've actually managed to get it right. So I feel like I should just say that that's my retirement of guessing things, but we're going to take another risk. And this time I'm going to say it's going to be, I'll go Jordan Pattaya, mainly because we haven't seen the man. And surely he's lurking somewhere. Yeah, like last year's favorite kit has to be 2011, 2012 Stat Francais kit, though. There's Kerr there. I'm going to quickly have a Google of that one. Stat Francais 2011 kit. They got a picture of it? Ooh. That's a bit fancy. Is it the one with the the flowered pattern type thing in the middle, or the leaves. Is that the correct one? With like the kind of pink orchids. Is it orchid? No, probably not an orchid. I don't really know my flowers that well, unfortunately. And 2016 Canes kit is my favourite pick though. Says Kerr there. Now Ravatamata does well at the back for the Drua to be able to clean that ball up. Now Frank Lamani going to kick this one in behind, putting it high and getting some good distance on it. And it'll only Sale to score next, says Mr. Billy. Good shout. He's a great player. So he is the number 11 for the Fijian Drua. And speaking of number 11s, looks like Filippo Dalgunu might be down with some sort of knee injury here. He's already got an acre of strapping on his leg. Oh, I know what that is. That's knee on knee. So pretty much what happened there, I believe. Oh, but he also kind of landed awkwardly. But I think it might have been a bit of a stinger. You get that knock on the side of the knee. Can be very painful, but now the advantage in favour of the Reds is at the point now. Says Samuela, yep, currently 5 points to 3 in favour of the Reds. And also, I should mention the Draw is currently still playing with the man disadvantage. Now the Reds passing out wide. Oh, no. It's going to be Josh Fluke, but guess whose wing he's on? It's on Filippo Dalgunu's, and it's going to be the try for Josh Fluke. Why didn't I pick him? I was close. In fact, who was my second pick that I was going to go with? I think I was, I'll be honest, I was going to say Jordan Pattaya or Jock Campbell. I'm sure Josh Fluke would have been relatively up there on a lot of people's lists to be able to score as well. Yeah, Flowers and the Dragon, says Kerr. And there, and show them draw, says Samasoni. Yeah, there's some nice kits around. Like, I do quite like the Fijian Drua kit. I'm quite a big fan of, just because it's that nice light kind of, what would you call it? Almost what's the combination of green and blue? It's not teal, but it's kind of not cyan. I don't know my colors very well either, but it's got blue on it and a slight green. I think it looks quite nice. Then what was the other kit that I saw the other day that I was like, if I had a chance to get that, I would? Can't remember. There's one of them though. And Dosadura says Maridi there, but Josh Fluke, 2 tries today already for that man. 30 minutes through, and the Reds taking a 7-point lead. It should be a nice, easy kick as well to make it 9. And whereas the enthusiasm drawer, says Vinny. Yeah, that gap just got well and truly opened up, unfortunately, on their outside, which is something that we actually saw in the Crusaders Blues game. We saw Mark Talia drifting off the wing, which then allowed the Crusaders the chance to be able to get round the outside and score tries. That was a little bit of a similar scenario there. And draw game, always pick up in the second half, says Mr. Billy. And that's the main thing for the draw. Keep it close up until that last 20 or 30 minutes, and then it's anyone's game. It's going to be kicked downfield from James O'Connor. Sitting up a little bit awkwardly for Drua Sese, but he's been able to take it. Goes across to Tete Teller. Now one more. Here comes Roni Sao breaking through the line. This man is dangerous. He finds the offload as well. Some skills help pay the bills. Now it's going to be the Rica Davita. And hard at the line, but a good low tackle made by the Red Soccer. It's gone through the hands of the Fiji Drua again, but it's gone backwards to Tete Teller now. They have to take the contact. Just slipping through the hands. Quite often, nice wide cutout pass to a Roni Sao. He does try the offload. That was silly, and it's gone straight to Suliasi Vunivalu, who is actually out on the wing rather than Jordan Pattaya. So Jordan Pattaya was not a good pick from myself, because he wouldn't have been able to score anyway. And go Drua, please. And red fire. There's MJL there. Also lol. Tackling player without the ball, actually going to be the penalty. And that is in favour of the Reds. Skills pay the bills, says Mr. Billy. Speaking of skills that pay the bills, does anyone know if Anaya Habosi's getting any game time for Racing 92 again? Last time we did a Drua game, we checked, and he had 1 game throughout 2023. That's what our halftime, well, I don't know if we'll call it entertainment, but our halftime plan is going to be to check to see if Anaya Habosi has played any more matches. That will be in 8 minutes' time. Of course, playing for Racing 92. Well, do you call it playing if he only gets half a crack once in a while? I hope he's on good money, though. That is one thing I said from the start. Give him good money if you're going to sit him on a bench, because he is a class player, and the Drua would have loved to have him again. And that's why the Reds are on the big bucks, Says MJL and come on the drawer. Says Viniana now wide cut out pass goes wrong. Drawer able to claim it. That ball's going to be knocked backwards again by Osefa Masi. Just so many little mistakes at the moment from the draw. That slap down, that's going to be a little bit of a dirty play on the breakdown for offside. And the Reds will get the penalty. Are you serious? Halftime already? Well, super fast. Or still another 8 minutes. But it has still been a very first half. It's still been a very fast first half of rugby. Glasgow Warriors kit 2015 was nice. All the Scottish clubs' names printed over the kit. There's Kerr there. What do you think of the Scottish lilac kit, Kerr? Because I know that one, when I saw it announced, the comment section on their Instagram was literally a 50-50 of some people were like, this looks incredible. And other people they were like, I'm never wearing a Scottish kit again. So it was an interesting one. But the lilac, I think it's grown on some people now. But some people still despise it and draw a yellow card. If they was the yellow card line out successful for the Reds. Yeah, Kitione Salawa was the man who was yellow carded, but he's now back out on the field. Now back to their 15. Another handling error this time from the Reds, though. Both sides playing a little bit of a scrappy half. Now take McDermott. Goes across to Ungor. Goodbye, Silla Silla. 15 metres out. McDermott goes to O'Connor. Lurking around Campbell. Harry Wilson drops the ball. There was a good chance on the outside. Not a fan. I should go back to White. Says Kerr there. Because that's one thing that I've noticed. Some teams, they enjoy changing their kit almost too often. I quite like that Super Rugby, a majority of the sides. In fact, I think most of the sides actually have just stuck with the same kit that they had last year, which I think is a good way of doing it. Or else then it just puts you under huge pressure to keep on coming up with new and unique designs. I think maybe the Melbourne Rebels are one of the only sides that actually changed their home kit this year that I can think of. I could be wrong with that statement. I know that the Western Force, their away kit, I think is a little bit different. But yeah, I think most teams are the same kit, aren't they, this year then, or that they had last year? Other than, yeah, the Rebels, I think, changed it a little bit from that skyscraper to something a little bit different down the bottom. I also let the Drua score for the halftime, says Vinny. Now, 5 minutes remaining. They've got plenty of time to do it. All they need is one line break. The Fijian Drua could be in. Neri Dirialangi. And with Gary Franklin Marnie. Has to go for the kick in behind and does manage to find touch about 30 out. Oh, it was partially charged down, so it is actually going to be a Fijian Drua line out for them here. The Reds, it's probably quite hard to kind of, I was going to say try and change their kit because it's maroon. And they just normally have it that same color. They don't really have too many designs in there. Maybe it's woke left that's creeping into sports now. There's MJL. Also, we have got their Issa let the draw. In danger of becoming touch rugby. And it was, worst was the bright orange change kit. Bizarre choice, says Kerr. Also, tell you what, I missed a lot of chat, didn't I? I thought I kept up with it, but I realized I missed about 5 messages in a little stint. I do apologize for that. Oh, it's actually gone even quicker now. Do you think rugby union has gone a bit soft? It's a tricky one because I know that they're trying to do the player safety side of things, but then they need consistency. Because if you've got consistency completely across all of your referees, then there's no gray area. It's all black and white. But because you end up in the scenario of certain referees seeing certain things different, it makes it so tricky for people to not say that rugby has gone a little bit wonky at times because of all those decisions that do go differently. I mean, you look at that one yesterday for Freddie Stewart, the one where he ended up elbowing the guy when his arm was about here, got him in the nose, red card. A lot of people weren't happy with that decision. There was a tip tackle in that one that was just a penalty. In another game, that would have been a yellow card more than likely. So it's very tricky for like people not to get annoyed at refereeing when they watch one game and a card's given and they watch another game and it's not. Player safety needs to be a factor. It's a contact sport and you can't mitigate all risk without destroying the game. Very true as well. There still needs to be some contact. Like you look at the Fijian Drua, they hit hard. But They will continue to play that style. They'll hit you hard in the midsection. Next, it will be that you're not allowed to smack players hard because there's organs around here, which I think will be the problem. Well, I don't think they'll ever get to that stage. I hope they don't. If they do, then yeah, I know a lot of people won't be happy. I mean, Wallabies in this red team, I think they've got about maybe 6 or 7 at the moment. I'll have a quick look. So they have got Suru Uru, he's been popping in and out, hasn't he? Although I think he's been in Australia A more recently, so we won't count him completely. Got Fraser McWright, Harry Wilson, Tate McDermott, James O'Connor, Felipe Delgunu, Jordan Pataya. So yeah, six or 7, somewhere around there. How's the line out? Line out was successful for the Reds in the end. After that last one, there was another knock on from the Fijian Drua. Now, going to be kicked to behind from James O'Connor. Oh, Fluke would have had his hat trick if he had hung on to it, but it's gone through the mitts. And it's going to be going back again. The biggest problem in world rugby right now is the consistency of refereeing sprint feeds or squint feeds. At the scrum is a real bugbear for me as well. Yeah. And the other problem you've got with scrums is every referee referees them different. Like one of the games, was it yesterday or the day before? It literally seemed like beforehand, once the scrum was about to take place, the referee would get one of these, a nice little coin, and go, right, I'm going to give the penalty to the Crusaders this time, or hey, it's the Blues' turn. Like it seemed like there was no reasoning behind some of the penalties. It was just pretty much, right, well, you're the team that I think should have won that one, so we'll give you the penalty. And Bulla from Mesa and Felipe and Raki. Hopefully I said that correctly. Welcome in. Mesa and Felipe, I hope you're doing very well. Which is 5G optical fiber internet available in your region. What's your speed? I think we do have fiber, although it kind of varies from like day to day in terms of how quick our speed can be. I think it can go up to about 180 megabytes per second, which is very speedy for us because it used to be about 7 megabytes per second before we had fiber. And that's why, like, throughout a lot of my earlier live streams, I had to reset the modem about 7 times before going live. And that's not even joking. That was my ritual would be about 20 minutes before the live stream, reset, 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 reset. Oh, it's good. And then that's when we'd do the live stream. And then before that, it was actually every day that I did any live streams, I would buy a $10 data pack on my phone and then hotspot it to my computer so that I could stream in kind of all right quality. Like there were weekends near the start that I was spending like $30 on data just to be able to do the live streams. This was back when we probably had about maybe 7 viewers or something like that. It was just any way that I could stream, I would, even if it meant pretty much spending a whole heap of money to be able to stream in still lower quality than a lot of people would have as a regular streaming speed. And to rely on TMO as well, in my opinion, direct reflection of the treatment of referees when making calls. Are they not infallible? That's a big word. I'll be honest and say I don't know completely what it means. I think I have a fair estimation, but it's a fancy word. As part of the game. But just like dropping a pass from a player. Yeah, see the TMO in Super Rugby, they've changed the rule, which does involve getting the TMO to then make a decision after the yellow card is given, whether or not it is a red. But that seems to be the only competition going down that route. And come on, the big Fijians, says Nahal there, and the Drua says Asili, and also we have got there Makario, I said the Drua. And were you calling the game from, Hamish? I am in the South Island of New Zealand, but halfway in between Christchurch and Dunedin. Location just a little small town, which is why our Wi-Fi wasn't great for a while. And scrappy game, Hamish? Errors slowing a lot. I've played down, Res defending well. Yeah, we've probably seen about 7 or 8 scrums, if not maybe a little bit higher throughout this one. So that has been costing both sides a bit of momentum. I'm sure they would have liked it to run a little bit smoother. But second 40, I think it's going to be a bit smoother. After I'm ready, so what's for dinner, Hamish? And are we invited, says Mr. Billy. I think we're going to have a barbecue tonight. I got a whole heap of barbecue supplies. Supplies sounds like I got like a heap of random stuff. But yeah, got a whole heap of food for a barbecue on Friday night because I wanted to have one at some point. So yeah, I'll end up probably having a barbecue. It will be a little bit late. It might be dark by the time it's done. but that's all right. Barbecue, she'll be right. Good food, good company. Having it with my parents, so should be fun. Watching Drua hold him back. Says in the hail there, and also Bulla from Misa and Felipe, and Bulla from Watasoni in there as well. What we're quickly going to do is we're going to go on to the top 14, and we are going to look for Vinaya Habosi. We're going to see whether or not he's been a busy boy and getting game time. Racing 92 up against Toulouse. Perfect game for Habosi to play. He did play. Wow. If they realise that he's actually a great player and that they should be using him in games. He played in the game up against Lyon, in which they did lose badly, unfortunately, but that was mainly due to Lyon just outplaying them in every sense of the word. But the Toulouse game, if Vinaya Habosi he scored a try in the 69th minute. It wasn't quite the try that won them the game. They were very close. I'm going to scroll down more. Did he get another? Did he get another? He did not. But he scored a try for Vinaya Habosi. So I hope that gets him a starting lineup spot in the near future. And I believe that that is going to be in 7 days' time when they do end up going head-to-head with Stade Francais, where we might see him go head-to-head with another Fijian, Naya Thalevu. Could be an option, which would be quite an awesome one. Yeah, Naya Thalevu in the midfield. Actually, he's playing for Toulon now. My apologies. He's no longer at Stade Francais. Stade Francais have lost quite a few big players by the looks of it because they don't look like they've got Nani Mape, at least not playing in the midfield either. So now we have to wait for Toulon versus Racing 92, which I believe might not happen for a while. Have a look though, nothing much from the Drua. Says now, not a very entertaining first half. Hamish says, Vinny, any half though that the Fijian Drua's in, you just know that there's one moment just around the corner. So I feel like it's more of we're getting the build up to what's going to be a special second half try from one of these two sides. Second half, that 15 better wake up and an 9 needs to play chess. Says this news that Northern Hemisphere has seen decisions from a ref being made and TMO comments in the air. Decision changes, TMO input here to only come at referee's request. There's Kerr there. Are you praying for them, says Vinny? I mean, I'm hoping Vinaya Habosi gets a lot more game time in the future. Because I feel like he's a great player. They actually play Toulon in 54 days. So hopefully it is Vinaya Habosi versus Naya Thalevu. Because then if those two go head-to-head, I think that would be a pretty awesome combo. When Reed's house and he called you an old fart. Says Ollie. I'll take it. You know what the thing is with an old fart? They normally stick around for a while. So I don't have plans of going anywhere anytime soon. You tell your buddy that. Reed's all right. And which team won the other round 4 matches? So far throughout this round, the Hurricanes won their game up against the Waratahs, 34 points to 17. Chiefs won against the Rebels, 44 points to 25. Crusaders beat the Blues, 34 points to 28. Brumbies beat Moana Pacifica, 62 points to 36. So that's a high score. Big time. Highlanders won against the Force, 43 points to 35. And the Reds currently leading 12 points to 3. The thing is, if the Reds win this game, the Crusaders, the Blues are the only home side that didn't win this round. Thinking back to the round 3, though, it was every home side won except the Blues stopped the Hurricanes from winning. So it's a bit of a full circle scenario. And come on, the Drua, says Shark Pond. I love all, mate. Says Watasoni in there as well. And also we have got there a little bit earlier on. Oh, I think I got most of the messages. And stream St Kilda's match. Says Joey, haven't done a lot of other sports outside of the kind of Super Rugby side of things. Like we want to do a bit of the NRL, maybe some AFL at some stage in the future would be quite cool. But yeah, I haven't really done too much research in terms of their teams and everything. So I feel like I wouldn't want to be too what would it be called? Unexperienced and uneducated when I do those streams. Unless I put clearly that I don't know what I'm talking about so that people can help us. Because that's actually how we pretty much started for a majority of the rugby sides. When we start a new competition, I have hardly any idea who most of the players are, but I'll just study them flat out, and you guys always come in and help me out for it as well. And maybe draw a repeat of last year against the Reds in the second half. 3 tries in 3 minutes would be impressive. And yeah, certainly one to remember. So yeah, okay, Drua, stay focused, Fiji fans all the way, says Wate Soni. And also second half draw all the way, says Viniana. Tosa Drua Tosa, says Atama. And yeah, but anyone who is new to the channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. I should mention we've got plenty more Super Rugby coming next week. Going to be some good matches taking place. I believe the pick of the matches for me next week is probably going to be either Crusaders Brumbies or, to be honest, probably Highlanders Drua, because I want to see how the Drua go away from home Saturday, 4:35 p.m. That is going to be taking place. Should be an interesting one. I think that's probably my two favorite games of that round. And then for round 6, we get to see the Reds play the Crusaders, the Chiefs play the Blues. That will be a good game, and maybe a quick 9-point game. But it can change very quickly if the Drua come out firing in the second half. True, they could score within the first 90 seconds of half number 2, and then it's anyone's game from then on. The Reds it's pretty woke on defense, and Drua is making the gaps, but handling errors need to be controlled. Yeah, I think they probably had about 15 handling errors. Maybe not 15, but it was a high number anyway. They only apparently one penalty, I believe they've got. Oh no, there we go. Penalties conceded, 9 against the Fijian Drua, and also that yellow card, and then 7 for the Reds as well. Looking through at a few of the other stats, we're seeing 2 tries from the Reds. Yet to see the Fijians cross the line, although they were very close, 1 meter out from the line, but then that handling error did cost them carrying meters. 168 meters carried for the Fijian Drua compared to the 130 of the Reds. More defenders beat them for the Drua, more clean breaks for the Drua, and more offloads as well. But the difference is they have not managed to get those tries. Win or lose, Fijian hero, says Peter. Yeah, that's something I love about the Fijian Drua as well, which I think I've said on pretty much every live stream we've done, is that no matter what happens, win or lose, they've got loyal supporters who will just stick with them no matter what's going on. Like, they're new to the competition. A lot of people in that first year when the Fijian Drua were losing games, like the fellas from New Zealand and Australia were like, oh well, looks like we should give up on their team, but not the Fijian Drua supporters. And now they can find themselves in 3rd place, 4th place at the end of this round, which would be absolutely massive. Reds to win 43-3. That would be rough, unfortunately, but hard to say. Rugby's unpredictable. I'm hoping the Canes put a barrel load past Pacifica next week, need a bonus point and a bump to the points differential. As well, says Kerr there. What's happening in the locker room? Assistant coaches stirring the boys up, says Mr. Billy. I'd like to think so. At the end of the day, these two sides need to make sure that they come out firing for the second half. And Drua just need to cut down on handling errors seriously. Says Simi Souza. Yeah, if they can get that right in the second half, I can see them scoring multiple tries. It's just hanging on to that ball for a bit longer. One of the commentators, or in fact, one of the kid commentators that they've got, is the kids round of Super Rugby. I think they're on the right page, and that is that the Fijian Drua are going to score a try soon. I want to see some more from Roygaard as well. Yeah, Roygaard, that's the thing. With Perenara and Jamie Booth, it always looked like those were the 2 halfbacks. But with Perenara out, Roygaard came onto the scene about 2 years ago, maybe not even that, and has just really cemented himself as a good option. Like, the fact that he's getting to start the matches and he's starting them well and playing pretty much from strength to strength is a bright future for that youngster. Who else of the Hurricanes team do you think has got a good chance in the future to make their way into some sort of bigger role? Ruben Love, another player for the Hurricanes that some people would say could go on to do great things. In that 4-pack, you probably, Lomax has been going pretty well. For a guy who a couple of years ago, everyone was like, nah, not AB's material. And then he came onto the scene and started actually getting starts for the All Blacks. I think he's improved his running game quite a bit. Young lads commentator on Stan Sports. There's Nate there. Goal Ronnie Sell and Saders in the Blues game. Clearly match of the round. A perfect showcase of Super Rugby Pacific, says DK. Yeah, just kept on going back and forth, didn't it? Which is how the Brumbies versus Moana Pacifica match started, just not how it ended. It was that momentum that did shift in favour of the Brumbies and they just scored repeated tries. But I believe that match was about 34 points each for those two sides. What else have the Hurricanes got? Josh Morby, that is a name that I should have mentioned, but yep, Josh Morby, bright future for him. And the thing is, he seems like a genuine 15. Whereas at the moment, don't get me wrong, the likes of Peter Feta, he's got that option of playing 10 as well, whereas Morby's just concentrated. He just has fullback on his mind. That's his spot, and that's where he's going to keep on trying to get better and better, which can be quite handy. But it also gives the selectors for the ABs or anyone who's looking to select him, they know what they're going to get. They're going to get a good fullback. And some would say that without that versatility of playing other positions, it may impact him, but I think it will actually help him more. Because currently, look at who the All Blacks have had at 15 the last 2 or 3 years. Geordie Barrett, they're now playing him either 12, they played him 14. At one point, Will Jordan, they play him 14. Peter Feta, they sometimes play him at 10, even though he only gets like 3 seconds on the field, but they'll play him at 10 during that time. Hong Kong Sevens next weekend, not next weekend, the weekend after. And tell you what, she's a big group. In fact, there's 2 massive groups of the Hong Kong Sevens, and it's just the way that the draws worked out, but there's going to be some massive clashes. I'm going to show you guys, I'm going to tell you guys anyway, the table for those groupings. Amish, you do a special show post AB's coach announcement. It should be soon, according to New Zealand Rugby Union. Says DK. I mean, I probably will end up doing either a video or some sort of live stream talking about it. Maybe we get a guest on as well, perhaps. First 20 minutes is crucial for the Drua. Please come out firing on all cylinders before it's too late. Says Luke Dan. Still 12 points to 3. It certainly is. So we are currently at half time, but second half not too far away from starting up. So the pools, ladies and gentlemen, for the Hong Kong Sevens. We'll say the ones that aren't massive for a start. Pool C, USA, Spain, Australia, Japan. Pretty stock standard, relatively, of who could go through there. Pool B, Great Britain, Uruguay, France, Hong Kong. Now, you'll know that I haven't listed a lot of big teams, and there's a reason for that. In Pool D, it is New Zealand, Kenya, Ireland, and South Africa. So it's a battle of the 3, with Kenya possibly able to cause an upset in one of their matches. Then in Pool A, it is Fiji, Samoa, Argentina, and Canada. Canada's a bit of a but those 3 sides, all of them could make it through to a final. But and Delaney are possibly to make strides. Caleb Delaney, isn't it? He's quite a young guy. Because I know that a few of these guys got a chance for the All Blacks 15, but not many of them have had a chance. Anything else? Delaney was in the was he in the under 20s? Yeah, am I correct in that? I could be wrong. Now to Tatella to kick us off for the second half. We are back underway. Now that shade has almost completely covered the ground. Just about a maybe 5-meter strip on that far side. And also come on the drawer. You can turn it down. There's Peter and Joseph or Razor. Most favorite Razor though, who you tipping? I think if you're gonna give Razor the job, you got to give him it now, or else he's going overseas and he's gonna get big money somewhere else. Score, please. Currently still 12 points to 3, but second half just getting underway. Going to be kicked high. Nicely taken by Frank Lamani, driven down by Dalgunu, close to the touchline, thrown into touch by the Drua. Another really mistake, unfortunately, and this time it is Drua Sisi to make the mistake. Delaney played for them. Oh, was he in the Māori All Blacks? So he's not in he wasn't in the under 20s or anything like that. Yeah. Instead, the Māori All Blacks. Now it's going to be thrown in, looking straight into the sun, but he's done well. Goes to Ryan Smith, back to McDermott. Harry Wilson charges at the line, trying to break through the tackle with Kiti Onisalawa. I didn't see that Whanakai Vata has come off the field, and that is for Rotui Solia. And also Tuni is off the field for Tukiri. Oh, another drop ball from Drua Sassi. It's gone backwards. Now Iruni Sau, close to the touchline, throwing the ball away, just offloading for the sake of offloading, and now giving it straight back into the hands of the Reds. These are mistakes they can't afford to have. Mark Robinson, and he's on rugby under the pumps. Now, nice run from Faisler. Inside ball. Outside, Harry Wilson scores. That is all from two massive, or in fact, three massive draw mistakes. Worker though, huge work rate, not in the under 20s as far as I know. There's Kerr there. Must be thinking of another fella. Am I thinking of Zach Gallagher? Maybe I'm thinking of Zach Gallagher. This is when we find out he wasn't in the under 20s either, isn't it? Hi, Hamish says, Xavier, welcome in. You are doing well. Come on the drill, says DK. Score, please. Yeah, what they're signing, but now 17 points to 3. It's disappointing because that first mistake from Drua Sese going into touch, second mistake from Drua Sese dropping the ball, and then third mistake, it was actually just that offload that didn't need to be made by Ronnie Sal, threw it on the inside, and the Reds just said, yep, that'll do. And also, I'm going out now. There's Vinny there, and also we've got there's Vota playing. Yep, Upper Salome Vota is there at number 12 for this game. Thanks, Harry says Vinny. All the best for you. Revu in the second half says Vinny. So we will see you later on, mate. Thanks very much for tuning in once again. Harry Wilson scores his third try of the season. He's my favorite NRL team. Hint, you guys are just one against my favorite. Oh, drifting away. Oh no. My brain's gone blank. Who do they beat? Who did the Warriors play? My brain's gone completely blank. The thing is, I know the score, or relatively close to the score, but I can't think of who they played. Wasn't the Raiders, was it? Wasn't the Cowboys? Enjoy your evening. I looked a little bit high from the Fijian Drua. North Queensland. Oh, it was the Cowboys. Right. The discipline's really going downhill now for the Drua. The discipline and the handling. This is going to be a tough 40 minutes if they keep on having this happen. Looks like Dalgunu's having a bit of a sleep. It was the Cowboys, says Blues Nate. And there as well. Did anyone end up watching the UFC? And then while we've got this bit of a stoppage for Dalgunu being down, I see that Kamara Usman was the main event up against Leon Edwards. Just in case you guys haven't watched it yet, I won't say anything. But then if you guys have watched it, then I will mention some of those fights. Currently, 44 minutes through. So another 36 to go. All the best, Drua. There's Vani in there. And that's the thing. Drua being down by 14. They certainly have the potential of firing back. They just need to make sure that, for one, the discipline is good. The handling errors as well. Usman lost. There's Mr. Billy. He did, yeah. And also the Kiwi Lads beer, yes. There's Ollie, and thank you, Blues Nate. There's Vinny there. But now James O'Connor going to be kicking this one for the touchline. Good call on that fight, Hamish. There's a snooze. See, that was one of those ones that I wanted to watch the card, but ended up sleeping throughout it, unfortunately. But I did see the results, and it was interesting. I'm a little bit disappointed with how quickly, what's his face, Barbarana's fight ended due to that submission, mainly because, like, we know how much of a chin the guy's got, and it would have been a bit of a slugfest had it not gone to a submission early on. Now pass back across James O'Connor, putting the ball out wide. Taken by Durasese. Doesn't take the mark, though. It's probably that, he's just thrown it forward, has he? No, it's gone backward. No, it has gone forward. Durasese's having about the worst game I think he has ever had. And the thing is, he's an ex-Reds player. And I didn't watch UFC, boss. Playing League this. Oh, how did it go, Nate? Go all right? I was like, hey, how are you, brother? Says Ollie. Welcome in. And Lingera so far, 10 for the Fijian Drua. Who have they got off the bench? Because I know that they've already made, I think they made one change, but I think Calaveti Ravovo has to be warming up right now. Because for Drua Sisi, don't get me wrong, great player, not his day though. And also, that Gaethje fight was an absolute war. Gaethje butchered him around 3. Must watch, mate, says Malcolm Williams. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that one because on paper, those two, like, neither of them were going to go down easy. And they were just going to keep on going for it. And Gaethje's just got that fighting style that no matter who he fights, he can make it into like a absolute slugfest that's going to be going back for the penalty to the Reds. Then, yeah, his opposition was well and truly up for it. Zev. Front row collapsing penalty is Uru playing well. Suru Uru, he's going all right so far for the Reds. Hasn't really done too much wrong. Had a couple carries, and Walker Leawere could be worth a chance. He was under 20s and Maoris. I think his shot at the ABs is gone. It's a tricky one because he's a good enough player as Walker Leawere. It's just when those bigger All Black players, likes of a Whitelock, Retallick, and everyone do hang up the boots, and who gets that first crack. Because we saw Josh Lord. That was a bit of a surprise one for a lot of people when they were like, "Oh, we're bringing in Josh Lord for this little grouping." Then you've still got Scott Barrett. You've got Tupavai. Um, there's another fella I can't think of off the top of my head. I mean, Josh Dixon got half a crack as an injury replay, or he came in as injury for the squad but didn't get to play. So, yeah, Wakarewere might just be a little bit too far down their list at the moment, sadly. Now, Harry Wilson, good charge. 3 meters out from the line. This is looking like there could be another try around the corner here for the Reds. Going to be McDermott. Goes across to James O'Connor. Cutout pass in the corner. Suliasi Vunivalu does now score another try for the Reds in this game. Now a lot more one-sided, ladies and gentlemen. And 18 points to 14 played again for other clubs who were short on players, no reserve. Who won their game as well. There's Blues Nate there. So the ankle, it's all healed up. You're ready to go for the season. Because are you in preseason or you're in regular season now, aren't you, Nate? I believe. That's the thing. Now that cricket over, I don't know what I'm going to do with myself because that's Wednesdays and Thursdays I had trainings. Saturday I'd have the game. That's 3 nights, or actually 2 days. No, I'll refresh 2 nights, 1 day. That now I've got free. Fully recovered in regular season, boss, says Blues Date. But I'm looking forward to getting through editing those other cricket videos. I've got about 7 at the moment. Or maybe not 7. I keep on saying more. But I'd say maybe 5 or 6 games that we've recorded that we now have available to edit. So they're going to be coming out, probably popping around every few weeks or so. We might release one just to get us through almost to the next season. And Hamish, will you do Sri Lanka versus New Zealand, or would you like me to update you on the score, says Xavier? We won't be doing the commentary for that one, mainly because Sri Lanka are the ones who gave us a copyright strike last time we tried to do it. Yeah, I know the last I saw was 2 wickets down and about 100 runs for Sri Lanka. Come on, the Drua Communication says Mr. Billy, an issue is when the old boys hang up the boots, the gulf between them and the young, inexperienced players need to start building experience, not fell 15, 20-year-olds. There's Kerr there. It's a good point because I know that we had this conversation with someone from South Africa yesterday and intercepted, but they're going to go back anyway for the penalty to the Fijian Drua. Yeah, we were talking about it because someone was like, no one's going to be able to compete with Damien Dialende. And then I asked the question, but once Dialende's gone, who is your next guy that's going to fill Dielende's boots? And then they were saying how it will be still to the same level because we've got Andre Esterhuizen, and then they listed 2 other players who haven't had a single Springbok cap. And we were talking about it, and I said about the experience factor. Like, experience is so crucial when it comes to international rugby. And yes, you can be a great player when you haven't played many matches, but a majority of the time, it's when you've had a few more matches when those nerves disappear. Because as much as you want to say, "Oh, I'll be fine when I'm out there," like when you're playing at international level and you've got 60,000 people screaming in the stands, you got to make sure you know how to handle that extra little bit of intensity, the weight of a nation on your shoulders. The Fijian Drua now only a couple meters out from the line. What is this ref? Says Nahal. I recognize the fella, but I can't remember the name off the top of my head, unfortunately. Sorry. Now the Fijian Drua. Tete Teller goes for the cross kick. It's going to be bouncing a little bit too far. They'll go back for another penalty for the Fijian Drua there, and going to be a big issue for Scotland in a few years. Too many key players at present getting all the game time. Need to start getting young players involved, pressure situations on international stage. And Sri Lanka need 304 runs with 8 wickets left. And then New Zealand will be able to bat again, won't they? So it's going to be a tricky one. Although they're up to about are they on day 4 or day 3 at the moment? I think it's day 4. Is day 3, sorry, end of day 3 at the moment. So tomorrow will be day 4. There we go. Right. Now, I mentioned it, Revolvo, he had to make his way out onto the field. He has. Now, if that is for someone other than Drua Sesi, I would be hugely surprised, but I believe Ravatomada has dropped back. Now, only a couple meters out from the line, the Fijian Drua, they take the quick tap and go. They're going after Ikanaveri. Going to be another advantage. Just getting up with a yellow card. Perhaps against one of the Reds players if they're not careful. Reds on top, says Joe Francis. And I was a good day, Mr. Goofy. Says Jed. Hello, Jed. You are doing well. It's going to be offside. 2 players offside. Right, this is probably getting to the last warning stage, I would think. Yep. I think that's what the Fijian captain has just said as well. When are we going to start seeing a little bit more, a little bit more in terms of maybe going to the pocket? Right. 16. In fact, that might have been number 17, in fact, there. Kitty. Lamani. Going off to the right-hand side. The Fijian Drua are extremely close to the line now. Lamani. Now pass in short. Wrestled down. Another advantage. Right. Surely you have to at least give them their last warning now. 1 meter from the line there, Frank Lamani. Penalty again. Double blow the whistle. Right. Come on, ref. Yep. Reaching to the pocket. It's a yellow card. It had to be. And Western Force got robbed in that last game. There's Schlanger there. And the Reds on top, says Joe Francis. It starts for day 3, says Xavier. And Wales as in a prime example, or is a prime example. We will go like this. We'll go. And Wales is a prime example, in my opinion. They should sacrifice Rugby World Cup and focus on building for the next one. Says Kerr there. It's going to be a tricky one because at the moment for the Welsh, like the World Cup pool that they're in, they've got a chance of going through to the quarters if they can get it right. That is very close to the line. Thought about reaching out there, Thorika Davita, but he doesn't instead. Oh, was he over the line? He is. I thought it looked like there was a little bit of a stutter in the process of getting there. But I think he just swapped it maybe from one hand to a little bit further down it. That is the drive to the Fijian Drua, ladies and gentlemen. Fijian Drua coming back. I'm only yawning, not because of the match, but because we stayed up for about 24 hours yesterday and then slept for a few. And also, we've got an article this morning about trialing a 20-minute sin bin for the red card. Thoughts on this? Particularly after the Stewart red. See, that's the thing. If they're going to do it, they probably should have done it about 6 months ago. Because, like, Super Rugby have been doing the 20-minute red card. And to a certain extent, some of the decisions, I think, have worked quite well because some red cards just look worse than others, don't they? But, like, yeah, it's an intriguing one whether or not they go overall because there are some people who are set on the way of a red card should be a red card no matter what. And then their team gets a red card and they say that red cards should not exist. So it depends on who you talk to. But yeah, certain people do have that opinion of if it's my card getting red carded, it's absolute rubbish. But if it's another team, give him red card, give him 7 weeks suspension. We don't care. Just make sure he's not playing the next time we take them on. Yeah, 20-minute red card works well for Super Rugby just because it gives the side a decent disadvantage, but then it doesn't take completely away from the fixture. Because there's nothing worse than seeing like a 5-minute red card into the match, and then like that's pretty much that team completely done. And Connor puts it high. Oh, that's at the shoulder of the Reds player. Now McWright charges forward. They're only going to be 10 meters out from the line now for the Reds, looking for their counter attack. It's going to be some quick hands. Now Dalgunu, ball on the outside to Liam Wright, who almost, I think Dalgunu might have got it down if Liam Wright didn't. Going to have to go upstairs, though, and check this one out. Drua starting the comeback, and Chiefs Manawa leading. Says, no, Mum, did you end up going to the game, Nof, Mum? In the end, or are you watching from home? On-field try is the call. They just want to check if there was a knock on. And got to check, says the snooze. And also Scotland and Wales take notes. What former Blues coach? David Nethefua? Fora? Sorry. Right, what happens there? It actually lands straight on the back of Jock Campbell. Smacks him on the back. And then, yeah, the ball just rolled backwards. But I think they're going to say that Jock Campbell had interference. Yep, no try. Exactly. Ireland's followed New Zealand's example and invested in homegrown rugby, Super Rugby Union, or SRU, getting there. But need more work. And also, we have got the old Welsh Rugby Union lost in the car park, beeping the car key. Says Kerr. Yep, tackled him without the ball just a little bit too quickly. Come on, says Nahal. So, yeah, there was interference, no try. Fire up draws, time left, says Samuela. There's still 25 minutes remaining in this contest, so still plenty of time for a draw comeback to begin. They've already got the one try in this half. They're going to need a few more. They will need another 3 tries. If not, maybe a little bit more. Sanzar will be the death of rugby. There's Schlanger there. It's going to be thrown in by Tavita Ikanaveri. Nicely taken there by Salawa. Now, Ronnie Sau drops that ball, holds his face as well in the process. Now it's going to be Liam Wright making the tackle there. I don't know why I'm tilting my head like I'm a dog who's just seen a dog treat. Now they kind of go. Now Lamani going off to now. That's one of the first times we've seen Upper Salomi Vata actually run with the ball. Oh, Lamani. I mean, he milks the penalty. Oh, they wanted to take the quick tap. Right, Ruben Keane is the referee for anyone who was wondering. Penalty goes the way of the Fijian Drua again. Draw my flavour, says Viniana. Great kick from the Fijian Drua. That is a fantastic kick down towards the 22. Now another good chance with Lava Sanzar side to tour the UK and Ireland Lions tour style, says Kerr. It's one that they've been wanting for a long time, isn't it? In terms of seeing a Sanzar Lions head north. Even if you couldn't go a Sanzar Lions, even if you just went a New Zealand and Australia Trans-Tasman Lions type thing. Although I know that South Africa would get annoyed if you did that because they'd want to be involved. Now, passed off to Kiri. Fijian Drua, though. Looking like they're right on the verge of maybe getting themselves another one here. Lamani, a good 9. Penalty goes the way of the Reds. I shouldn't have said that. That was commentator's curse, so I apologise there. That Fraser McWright wins the turnover. Penalty for his side. And this will use up time that they are a man down. Could be quite handy. And Sanzar Lions would be worse than the All Blacks. Says Schlanger there. Well, looks like some sort of injury here for, I think that's a man. Or Annan, sorry. And they're kind of about to kick it for the touchline. That's why they don't do it. Says Schlanger. One. It's kicked into touch. Down to about the halfway line. I've said there was clear release from Fraser McWright, got his hands on the ball. They managed to get the turnover. So Matt Greeley now out there on the field for the Reds. Sitting on the halfway line, and it sounds like there's a couple more subs that are going to be made as well. Right, the time is on. And that is not straight. Now the Fijian Drua, they will have themselves the scrum feed near the halfway line. Mention anyone who is new to the channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. We will have plenty more Super Rugby coming in the near future. Also, the URC International Rugby, the Sevens. So Rivovo is on. He is indeed, and that is for Durasisi. They had to take him off, unfortunately. And already, it seems like they've gone not too bad while he's been off the field. They haven't made the change of Kimu Velatini and Pini Matawalu. He's also not come out onto the field, and he will be replacing Frank Lamani. Speaking of that, he's now literally just come out onto the field. He's just run there as I speak. I'll say it would produce exciting rugby for sure. I believe would benefit rugby as a sport. That's what it's about, not a scoreline. Although Sanzar would not or would want walk away with a clean sheet. Says Kerr there. Pini Matawalu. First scrum feed of the day for him. Still 21 minutes remaining. Anything can happen. They're down by 2 converted tries. Still a chance. Going to be a nice step there, this time by Calaveti Revovo. Moving up to 40 metres out from the Reds line. Still a dummy from Penny Matawalu. In fact, my apologies. Frank Lamani has stayed there out on the field. I believe that would be Tite Teller instead, who did make waves. So they've decided to have 2 halfbacks out there for the Fijian Drua, which you'd assume will increase the speed of their play at the breakdowns. Unfortunately, they've just dropped the ball again. Alamani is back there, waiting for that ball, almost intercepted for Kalani Thomas. He was about to run in for a try of his own. It becomes a penalty for a deliberate knockdown, they've said. He got close. Come on, the Drua. And Jimmy is in the chat as well. Welcome in, Jimmy. Frank Lamani. This was a risky pass. Kalani Thomas could see it happening and just got one hand to it rather than the two, which is why it's a penalty rather than just a knock on in that scenario. Also, major sponsor equals major player coming in now. Here's Blues Nate. Kalani Thomas, he would have only been on the field for maybe less than 5 minutes as well. Time for giving away his penalty. Now the Fijian Drua. Once again, line out on the halfway line. It will be Tavita Ikanaveri. He's got the chance. His lineouts haven't been terrible today. I think they've had one not straight. Valentini, not Lamani, please, says Mr. Billy. Is in like Rob Valentini, Mr. Billy? It's going to be a not straight lineout. I jinxed him as well and drew all the way. Says Viniana there. Rob Valentini doing decently in the last game for the Brumbies up against Moana Pacifica. Right, another scrum feed. This is something that we had quite a bit at the start of the match, and then it went quiet. Now it seems like it's ramped back up a little bit more. Hey, Hamish says Connor. Hello, Connor. You are doing all right, mate? What'd you think of the performance last night or this morning, depending on, it might have been last night for you, this morning for me. What'd you think of it? I was at Kimu. Says Mr. Billy, and I was just watched the Force Highlanders highlights. It's a high-scoring game. There would have been quite a few of them for all the tries. New Zealand, newly owned by Middle East. Major player, big dollars. Says Blues Nate, that's going to be a big scrum, wheeling away to the side. So they are going to have another reset. This all uses up extra time that the Fijian Drua can't really afford to not use. They can't get over the abysmal kick miss at the end from the force number 10. There's Kanakao, and also, is there some disappointed fans in here? There's MJL. I would say disappointed to a certain extent because this is going to sound harsh, but not meant to sound harsh. I would say that the Reds, to be honest, in this game, they haven't played spectacularly. They've played good. They've played pretty well, but they've conceded 14 penalties throughout this match as well. So they'll still look at this game as things that they have to improve on. 6 handling errors from them. It's just the fact that the Drua have given away 12 penalties, and also they have ended up dropping the ball 12 times. So I feel like both sides will take a lot of learnings out of this game. But yeah, the Reds, they'll be happy enough with a win. I believe next week they have got their game going head-to-head with the not the Hurricanes. They've got someone anyway. He's like, there's another problem, Nate. Too much money because too many problems in rugby. In soccer environment, I was absolutely thrilled. Well-deserved Grand Slam or Green Slam achieved. Could be the weather. No, it's a nice day. It's dry as. To be honest, like I don't think there'd be any moisture at all on the surface. Oh, it's another knock-on. Another drop ball, but they're going back for the penalty in favour of the Fijian Drua. Andy Farrell was the best Irish coach in a long while, says Connor there. In red offside, that's against James O'Connor. Now, Fijian Drua, I believe they will kick this one for the touchline. They score now, they've still got a good crack. Get back to maybe a draw. We haven't seen a draw so far throughout the Super Rugby Pacific season. And if it is a draw, we will go to golden point 9. Needs to get back to the love of the game. A bit more loyalty. There's Kerr there. Hmm. See, that's the thing. Like, I always mention about it on the live streams. It's not the same, of course, but in terms of the reason behind getting up at like 3 a.m. doing like 6 live streams in a row, I always say it. Like, the first thing that I do on the channel in terms of priorities is I just love watching rugby and I love talking about the games with you guys. That's like my number one thing. Any money that this channel's made over the last 3 years has gone straight back into the channel. Like, I haven't walked away with like a single penny, I don't think. Other than, of course, when we get a certain donation when someone's like, get some KFC. Like, I do spend that money on said KFC. But like, other than that, it's gone into either microphones or lighting or streaming software, webcams, SD cards, hard drives, anything that will slightly improve the product is where everything's gone. And I feel like that's a good way of doing it because then you don't get driven by the money side of things. You do it because you love doing it. You get up at random hours, then you just do it. And it's incredible what he's achieved since he took over. Just imagine a World Cup. Wouldn't that be a cherry on the top? There's Connor there. Now nice run from Apasalumi Vota. Round this side. That's the phone. Hopefully that's not a copyrighted tune. I don't know what to do now. I just gotta keep on talking, I guess, while the phone does ring. A 90-plus point game between Moana Pacifica and the Brumbies. Says Xavier, should Sam Cane stay on as AB's captain? I don't think so. But now that Artie Savi has done his whole gesture scenario, I feel like they're going to be a bit more strict with him and maybe not give him the captaincy because of the backlash it might cause, which is a shame because I feel like he would have been quite a good option. That's going to be actually another penalty to the Fijian Drua here. Frank Lamani off to the right-hand side. Pene Matawalu, wide cut out pass. They've got numbers here. The Drua, all they need to do is find the offloads. It's a beautiful back line. And Kalaveti Ravovo gets the try for the Drua. And now they get a little bit closer back into this contest. They need to make sure that this kick is successful, though. Although either way, to be fair, they still need probably 2 more tries, I would say. But it is the try of Kalaveti Ravovo there, the Aussie and the Kiwi, lay the foundation for Ireland. True story. And also, it's incredible what he's achieved since he took over. Just imagine a World Cup. Wouldn't that be the cherry on the top? I mean, loving the game and loyalty from players. Too many players following money the way soccer does. Says Kerr, yeah. And like, that's the thing. That's why someone like an Aaron Smith, I think, is so admired in some regards because he's been at the Highlanders for like how long? Like 10, 15 years or something like that, which is pretty incredible. That was a huge shot. I think it was Dalgunu who flew across and got a good shot into the midsection. Ravovo, 4th try of his career. Toso Drua Tosso, my flavour all the way. Also, we have got their lowers at Beethoven. I'm not sure. I don't know what the tune of the phone is. We'll find out after this live stream whether or not YouTube decided to copyright claim us. If they did, we'll just mute that one little part, which I was going to do anyway. I was just going to click my mute button on my microphone. Now, just showing the replay. We've got you're too generous with your super stickers. Is that the boat you're on, by the way? In that picture, because that is a absolutely mammoth-sized boat. Like, well, do you call it a ship? What makes it a ship rather than a boat? What does it need? The scoreboard says Viniana. Hopefully it updates. Yep, there we go. Has updated now. Another go. Fiji says Malua. But the super sticker, I can see it on the live streaming software. This one. And that's for KFC. Oh, thank you very much. And he's got the thank you with the bow. So, well, thank you very much. Yeah, hugely appreciated. You've been very generous this weekend, like extremely generous. Thank you very much. Now the line-out throw coming in for the Reds. Oh, stolen by the Drua. Thank you, Mr. Hamish, says Viniana. And also, we're going to need a bigger boat, boss, says Nate. Now Matawalu kicking it in behind. And you feel like, yeah, the momentum is firmly on one side's favour, and it's not the side who are leading at the moment. Fijian Drua taking that ball nicely with Ravatomata, going across with the wide cut-out pass. Very flat passing from the Fijian Drua across their 22. Frank Lamani now puts the ball high. And nicely taken by Suliasi Vunivalu. After Kalani Thomas almost bears them through, but Canaveri able to drag him down. If the Drua can win a penalty somewhere around this halfway line, it's all on for young and old for the final 13 minutes of the match. Now, Tom Liner, Namai Revovo. It's a bit of trouble controlling it, but now has regathered. Will kick it himself. Down to about 35 out from their own line now, the Reds. Tagged back by Jock Campbell. What makes a ship is it needs a competent sea captain, not a Francisco Schettino. And you work for Royal Caribbean Cruises. A boat can fit into a ship, but a ship can't fit in a boat. Huh. There you go. That's actually a good way of putting it. And where's you? And hey, O'Connor, there's Junaid there. Welcome in, Junaid. Hope you are doing well. Currently, 12 minutes remain. Penalty does go the way of the Reds. I believe they will take the 3 points here. Seems like the smartest option. Suliasi Vunivalu looks like he might have some sort of injury. Hopefully nothing too serious for that man. He's looking at the bench as if to say that he wants to come off here too. Currently a Spectrum of the Seas, if you want to Google it. Spectrum, sorry, not Spectrum. Spectrum of the Seas. Deck plan. You want to see a deck plan? Images. Yeah, that's a biggish boat, isn't it? It'll hold a few people. I'd say at least 5. That's a nice boat. Do you get like cruise discounts for being on a boat? Also, what do you do on the boat? If you don't mind me asking, Kurt. Tom Liner kicks that ball over, so that will now make the score 27 points to 17. Bulldogs 26, Tigers 6 after 60 minutes. Andy doing a solid job to maintain Ireland's winning form. There's Blues, Nate. Looking sharper tonight, Irish, says Junaid. I got some sleep. That might have been it. Managed to squeeze about 5 or 6 hours in. We're doing all right. I'll end up sleeping probably relatively early tonight, and then wide awake tomorrow. Probably going to spend all of tomorrow editing. And on the boat, you throw up seasickness, says Xavier. I mean, some people do get seasick. Well, that one's gone straight sideways. I don't think it meant to. But that's a harsh one for Suliasi Vunivalu, a man who's already feeling a little bit injured. Now had to get up and try and handle getting smashed almost into touch as well. Come on, the draw, says Viniana, who kicked that last draw conversion. That's a great question. I'm not sure. I want to say that it would have been probably. Oh, we're about to find out because the draw score again in the corner. Another try. Right, we're about to find out because he will be kicking this next one. I thought that it would have been probably Lamani, though, or Matawalu. But I'm not too sure. Hello, Hamish. Hope you're doing well. Thanks for the commentary. I love it. Or would love it. Just want to know, are you covering any of the Curry Cup games today? Probably not today, unfortunately, just because that will be when I am catching up on sleep from the weekend from doing the Six Nations. But in the near future, Curry Cup is coming back on the channel. It is just, this weekend we have been a little bit busier, but next weekend it should be fine. Yeah, wife is coming out for a couple of weeks, start of next month. I used to drive them, now manage all the ships for maintenance, structural steel and paint. It's an important job. We saw a cruise ship actually just up the road from us a little while ago, me and George, and it was a massive one in the dock or in the port. I think it's called, isn't it? But it was a great finish from Osefo Masi. We certainly know how well he's been going throughout the Super Rugby Pacific season, and it is Frank Lamani now lining up this kick. He's struck it absolutely fantastically. It's gone over in the draw. Now 3 points down with 8 minutes remaining, and the crowd for the draw are now starting to believe once again that there's a good chance that a draw win could be just around the corner. The draw, they are $7 underdogs, ladies and gentlemen, at the moment, compared to the Reds $1.25. And I can tell you earlier on, the Fijian Drua were $26 underdogs. So that just shows you how much of a chance now these boys have created for themselves. And who knows? Did you hear my shoulder crack there? Standout players tonight. Well, Best players so far for me, definitely not Drua Sisi. He had a rough game. Lamani's been pretty solid. For the Reds, they've had a couple good standouts playing for them. The likes of a Josh Fluke in the midfield, and then also in that forward pack. I mean, you might go Liam Wright just because he's been quite busy. But other than that, there hasn't really been many individual brilliant performances throughout this game, believe it or not. It's been more of a team thing. Well, Ojo on attack mode now. And a gun player says Daniel. And also draw all the way. It will be Ovation of the Seas, sister to this one. Also one of mine. Says Kirthan. Also go draw, says Siru. And also Tossa Drua says Eliza there. This one's going to be kicked into touch from the Drua as they did win the inside of their own 22. Anyone who is new to the channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. It is hugely appreciated, you guys all being here for this live stream. 7 minutes remain in this fixture between the two sides, and it seems like the Drua certainly think they're in with a decent crack here. The Reds need a try. Converted, that would secure the deal. What team do you play for, Hamish, in the cricket? It is just the Waimea third grade side, so it's not like a big side. Oh, stolen at the line out by the Reds. That could be a crucial turnover from that man that I mentioned just before, Liam Wright. Come on, the Drua. Says David, do you think the Drua can pull it off? They've just knocked the ball on from the Reds, so I think there's a real possibility. Both sides making their little mistakes that will then, in turn, probably shape the way that this match ends up going and fire up the Drua. What's happening, says Sura, at the moment? Was the line out from the Drua unsuccessfully claimed, but instead the Reds managed to turn it over and then they managed to drop the ball. So now it is going to be a Fijian Drua line out. Sorry, Fijian Drua scrum, I should say, and the Fijian flags from Cat there. And fire up Drua, says Nate, and go the Reds. And from Queensland, go on the Reds. They are just showing the match tracker. The Reds certainly had the better of the first half and the early stages of the second. But from 50 minutes onwards, it's been all Drua, and they're looking to continue that for the last 6 minutes. And come on, the Reds. And make your move now, Drua. You may not get this chance again. It's going to be a free kick, so they have decided to take the quick tap. Now firing it out wide. Sorry, it is going to be Ravatamata, who did go for the offload. Now finding it out to Sefamasi, who does try to go straight over the top of the fullback, Jock Campbell. Being tackled down now, big tackle. I believe that is going to be Revovo. Penalty to the Reds every little moment. Just switch a ruin. And also the draw all the way, says Vinyana, and that's true. Fiji player, says Nahal, and go the Queensland Reds. I'm from Queensland, and go Fiji, says Nahal there. Looks like there is some sort of injury here for the Reds at the moment. I want to say that is Josh Fluke, which would be a shame as he has already managed to score himself 2 tries throughout this matchup. Ravatamari, he went for the offload on the outside to Asefa Masi, who just put in the big fend on Tom Liner. Sent backwards. But then in the breakdown, yeah, he just ends up, he gets landed on by Harry Wilson, his own teammate. Bit of friendly fire there for him. Now the Reds, they take a 3-pointer when they get into the Fijian Drua half. That would not be enough to give them that 7-point lead. Go Drua, go. Watching from North Queensland, says Eliza there. And how many minutes are we at in the second half? So we are currently 75 minutes through. 5 minutes remaining in this fixture. There's going to be a Reds line out now. Have to make sure that they get it right, and they've gone to the front, and it's successful. Now, they'll look to roll this one forward a few extra meters here. If they can milk an advantage, it would be absolutely brilliant for them. Still marching forward. Referee not going to extend his arm as of yet. Straight through the middle. I believe that was Takeri who was trying to stop it. Going to bounce out the back, though. Kalani Thomas moving out to the 22-meter line now for the Harry Wilson and the Reds. I don't know why the Harry Wilson is his name now. Nice run from Josh Fluke. Kalani Thomas trying to snipe round the side of the breakdown with the pick and go. Moving now within the 10 meters of the line. Oh, it's a drop ball, but it did go backwards, the referee says. So it's play on just for now. Great counter ruck from the Fijian Drua, but the ball just sits on the side of the Reds. Wilson now went for the grubber in behind. Looks like Matawalu will have it covered, forces it down, and it will be a goal line dropout now. Field goal will be enough for a W. And also, we have got there, come on, says, we can do it an evening, Hamish. I overslept. Damn, can't believe it. I wanted to watch this match. How are you, mate? I'm doing very well, Bertie. You did enjoy the Six Nations games that we did see yesterday. But yeah, it's turning into a close game, which is absolutely awesome. I did say at the start of this live stream, this was the match that a lot of people were looking forward to the most this weekend because of the unpredictability of the Fijian Drua. Now they have to try and defend again. 3 minutes remaining. Harry Wilson trying to spin it out of the tackle. Kalani Thomas now giving it off to the left-hand side. Scott Campbell joining into the line again. They're asking for the offside penalty. Maybe a bit of desperation there from the Reds, hoping just to get that advantage. Tom Liner had a bit of a juggle on the ball, unable to get the turnover there for Mizulami Dolakoto. Now Harry Wilson going up to 25 metres out from the line. Kalani Thomas, knock on from the Reds, and now the Drua have got the opportunity again. Dolakoto claims it for the Fijians. Frank Lamani slings it wide. So it is going to be Celestino Ravatomata. Finds the pass on the outside to Kimu, the youngster. Now finds the offload to Frank Lamani. They're inside of the Reds half now for the Drua. Now back across. Now Sila Siru though almost got the turnover. Back into the pocket. No one was there. Did they tell her? I don't know whether he was supposed to be back there for the kicking option. I'm sure that wouldn't have been the plan for the Fijian Drua though. At this point in the match, it's just offload after offload. See what you can create. Did they tell her? Goes to ground. Phase after phase starting to build here. I'm so nervous, says Xavier. It's the ball currently the Fijian Drua in possession. They are 40 metres out from their own line after getting driven back about 10 from the last few phases of the Reds defence. Now Frank Lamani sod the dummy. Almost through, but just half a ankle grip by Liam Wright to stop him. Now, ball bounced out the back again. It is going to be Kimu Valentini. Now, 90 seconds remaining. It's going to be Ekanaveri breaking through a tackle, fending off Harry Wilson, moves to 40 out. Now, Dalgunu over the ball. Great body position, wins the penalty for the Reds. And that might not just win the penalty, that might just win the game for the Queenslanders here. Filippo Dalgunu, one of the men who you wouldn't expect to see right next to a breakdown, but he was there. He was defending very compact. And go, boy, says Cat. No, says Xavier. And go, the Drua. So the time is not yet, but this is going to use up some more of the final remaining moments, ladies and gentlemen. We are almost sticking over to the 79th minute now. In fact, we have 10 seconds past the 79th, 50 seconds to go, and it is going to be a Reds line out, and they will jog to this one. Now, they have to make sure they don't huddle, though, because if they huddle, that is actually something World Rugby have been cutting down on. And that would end up with a free kick for the Fijian Drua, but that is not the case. Who has the ball? Now it is a Reds line out. Now, 30 seconds remain. In fact, just under. About to be thrown in. Taken at the front. A little bit loose from the Reds. And it looks like now they're just going to have a casual run up the middle. Fijian Drua, though, trying to get straight over the ball. Kalani Thomas getting shut down early by the Drua. With the counter ruck as well. Looks like it's going to be safe at the back. They're going to use up the last 6 seconds of this contest. One more phase out to the side. The Drua need like 6 men in that breakdown. But they've decided to just let it play. There's the siren. Kalani Thomas gets dragged back into the breakdown, finding it a little bit tricky. Back into the pocket. Kicked into touch, and the Reds will win this game by the 3 points. 27 points to 24. Certainly a game that went down to the wire. Just little mistake was what cost the draw. I'm so surprised, though, that they only have 1 man or 2 men committing to that last breakdown who weren't actually trying to push back. I feel like that's one of those ones you just got to try and bulldoze your way over. If you get penalised, you get penalised. But if you manage to get over the top, you give yourself one last crack. And the match, what's the plans for the rest of the evening, mate? Says Booty V. I am going to be having a barbecue, I believe is the plan. And then after that, from there, we will end up probably editing for the evening, going to sleep, waking up tomorrow, and then doing some more editing after that as well. As they said, great game. Nonetheless, I do thank you all very much for tuning into this live stream. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. We've got plenty more of Super Rugby action coming around the corner. The Fijian Drua, they will walk away from this game with a bonus point. So they will just get themselves the 1 point. The Reds will walk away with the 4. But thank you all very much for tuning in. If you are new, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And I will see you all for the next one.